Hey guys, just wanted to give you a quick update on one of the coolest new social media apps. It's called BJJ Link. Think of it as something like a combination of Facebook, Reddit, and maybe Tinder, all put into one app, strictly for BJJ people. So, first thing you got to do, you got to go to your web browser and go to bjjlink.com and sign up for the account. It's super easy, super fast, takes like 5 seconds. Then you're going to download the app, BJJ Link, from the App Store. And then you're going to log in and you're going to start building your profile. So you guys can see here, I chose my profile picture and of course, shirtless and jacking some kettlebells, you know, the American flag behind me, put in black and white. So, you know, trying to look as cliche as possible. And then you can scroll down a little bit. You fill in your details, name, country, date of birth, the academy that you train at. You're going to put in the date that you started training, and then it's going to ask you for your rank. So obviously I'm a black belt. I put in my date, and it put me at second degree. I don't think I did that myself. I think it actually gave me the second degree on its own after I put in the date. If you scroll down, look, you can see the lineage and my jitsu links. These are all the people I've linked up with in the past few days. Got a little section for the history. You can see I joined Autos HQ in August 2014. Nogi World Champion 2018. And yeah, then you can get down. Yeah, you keep scrolling. It turns into a news feed. So look, I'm going to go over here to the sidebar, show you guys what's on the sidebar. If my phone acts a little funky, it's not the app, it's my phone. I dropped it in water and I got some water damage, so the screen is a little funky. But look, we got a message section. I don't have any messages because no one likes me. Notifications. Oh shoot, I got some notifications. And then see, I'm gonna go back. Whoops, sorry, fat thumbs. And, oh, there's the map. That's what I wanted to show you guys. This map is fucking cool, okay? You can basically just go around the world, and all these are academies, okay? These are academies that are currently affiliated with BJJ Link, or there's someone from these academies who has a BJJ Link account. And basically, you can just kind of scroll the world at your fingertips, and you can see where all the academies are. Naturally, you see a lot of academies in Southern California, and over in the New York area. You can scroll in, get a little bit closer. You can see there's like 50 academies, 55 academies in Peru. There's a few in Ecuador. Venezuela has 2. So basically, wherever you're traveling the world, you can kind of scroll around on this map. You can find academies in the area that you're in. If you zoom in all the way up, this is going to be difficult for me because my phone's so funky. But if you, let's say we go all the way into Barcelona, all the way up in there. Oh, there's still 3 academies. There you go. They get broken up. Once you get close enough, the academies get broken up, and you can click on the academy and you can see what team it is. So if you're ever traveling the world, you guys can check out this map, scroll around wherever you are, and see where there's academies. And if you have a link with anyone that goes to that academy, then you can message that person, ask them if you can come train with them, and boom, you're going to have training wherever you are in the world, which I think is super cool. And, you know, there's other sections over on the side. I think that was the Explore section. There's an Academy section where you can put in Academy information. There's an event section. Check this out. There it is right there. Roberto Jimenez seminar coming up in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey on Wednesday, January 8th. So here, shout out to Roberto Jimenez, just got his black belt. And yeah, so there's a journal section. I think that part of my that part of my screen is dead. I can't click on it because that's the dead zone on my screen, so it kind of sucks. But yeah, you can journal, take notes, and yeah, I mean, let's be honest, guys. You're probably going to use this app to creep on some girls, and you know, I'm not judging you for it, but that's kind of what happens with social media apps and jiu-jitsu. So this is just another tool for you to find your future jiu-jitsu lover. And yeah, I just want to thank them for sponsoring the podcast. And I hope you guys check it out. Remember, you can go to the web browser, to sign up for the account, bjjlink.com. And then you download the app from the App Store and then sign in onto the app. And then you can build your profile and post all your shirtless pictures and your butt shots. And, you know what I'm talking about. All those, what do they call them? Thirst traps when you're trying to get some attention. I'm not judging, guys. I'm not judging. I've done it too. We've all done it. I'm not judging, but I think you guys should all check out this app and sign up and try it out. See if you like it. You know, support the jiu-jitsu entrepreneurs out there because I think this is a cool one. And yeah, big shout out to BJJ Link. Thanks for sponsoring the podcast.
So, I'm sort of a
wait. Did you click record?
Yeah, it's live.
I just want to make sure I don't make any politically charged statements while we're recording.
Oh, we're gonna make politically charged statements. I, for one, am pro free speech, and I think podcasting is the epitome of that. I think that's like our future is podcasting. But yeah, we don't have to talk about it.
I think we're gonna do our best. I think we're gonna do our best not to talk politics right now.
Sure. Let me finish my thought then.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
I'm sort of a like armchair scholar. Do you think that's a fair?
That is
like I don't actually know anything, but I like to research the things that people know shit about.
I don't think it's really an armchair. You're more of like a Astro gamer chair.
Speaking of, if no one has a chair like this, of all the gaming chairs, the Secret Lab brand is really nice.
That's the chair brand?
Yeah, Secret Lab. It's a leather chair.
I feel like
$400, but of all the gaming chairs and all the chairs I've sat in, your chair, which is like the king's chair.
This is kind of an armchair.
That's an armchair, sure. But this chair is really nice.
That's definitely a gamer's chair. How many you're probably like a connoisseur of gamers chairs.
I've gone through 3
in your life.
Yeah,
I would have thought more.
They last a long time. But I had one, and then.
But you ride them until they die.
I still have the first one. I use the first one still.
You don't want to get rid of it.
The second one, I just ended up leaving at my old apartment because it was too annoying to move it and disassemble it, and I just left it. It wasn't that comfortable. You couldn't
just squeeze it through the doorway.
I mean, I could, but I just didn't have space for it in my new place. I didn't need more. But anyways, I'm kind of an armchair scholar.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let me make that very clear. I don't actually know what I'm talking about, but I do like to...
You got to be like Joe Rogan. Just be like, I'm an idiot.
Right. I'm an idiot.
But here's what I think.
I'm an idiot. Here's what I think.
If you own it, they can't talk shit.
Yeah. But I recently was reading this, it's essentially game theory for dummies. Do you know what game theory is?
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
Game theory.
I study political science.
It's used in political science. The idea of game theory, which I've heard about, but I never really truly understood, but I like to think like, ooh, game theory. That's like stretch.
It sounds cool. It sounds cool of all the theories.
But it's interesting because it's like, it assumes that everyone in the stratagem that you're participating in, like the game or the race.
Scenario.
The scenario, yeah. Is rational, which I thought was an interesting concept. For game theory to work, you also have to assume that everyone else in the scenario is rational. And then this was like the first page. I only read like one page of this.
This is why this theory doesn't work, because literally no one is rational.
Right. And so that's what the interesting thing about it was, is like you can predict a lot of things if everyone is rational.
Right.
So like if you assume that everyone in the scenario is rational, you can make quite a few deductions that are relatively accurate when you build out the model of the situation.
Yes.
And I just thought that was pretty interesting, like, because I feel like jiu-jitsu, like we can tie it into jiu-jitsu rationally, if you're about to pass someone's guard in this specific way, that's like, I always talk about limiting options, but you're basically assuming...
You're talking about the funnel, right?
Right. Like there's infinite possibilities when no one has touched each other yet. Right, and as you get closer and closer and grip, there's fewer and fewer things you can actually do that make sense, that are rational.
It's like the chess match. Like,
yeah.
when the board is fresh, if there's infinite number possibilities.
Yeah.
Right? The way the game can go down. But when you get down to the last few pieces, it
becomes more
limited.
specific. Because if they're irrational, because if they're irrational, that all goes out the window. So
right.
So
right.
the more logical you are, the more effective you are at games in a lot of ways, because it allows you to be like, I know if I was in his position, the rational thing to do to not lose would be this, and then this, and then this. And then you have to play that against your own decisions, as my decisions would be this and this and this. And if we're both rational, you would come to this conclusion, right? And so only if both people can somehow follow out the entire rational procedure all the way to its final conclusion, will it be an accurate prediction, right? Which never happens.
This is why it's so difficult to train with white belts.
Yeah, exactly. So
they make irrational decisions.
And so much of teaching in jiu-jitsu, I realize, is really just teaching rationality based on our knowledge, because we have a lot of jiu-jitsu knowledge, but you can't be rational about jiu-jitsu unless you have that technique knowledge of like what actually works in these different scenarios.
Right.
And so that's kind of all of jiu-jitsu, is just showing the rationally best option against this guard pass or against this
rational
submission.
Option.
Yeah, the best rational option, which there can be many.
This is why when I teach in my seminars, I teach someone one technique and then I give them all the rational scenarios that might or are most likely to occur, because those decisions are the most rational, right? So like, hey, when you have someone's head, they're probably going to do this. And if they don't, well, I don't know what to tell you, because you're not dealing with a rational grappler. But all the good, I can always say in my experiences, all good competitors or good grapplers do this thing. This is the most common reaction. And because I have...
You keep bumping the table and shaking your
Sorry. And because I have so many... I have so much experience with these scenarios, it's very easy for me to just tell them, like, look, this is what you're going to encounter.
I wasn't changing this to view you at all.
Yeah, let me look at me. Let's look at me. Oh, shit.
I'll be better
look
about
at that.
this.
Look at my shiny ass forehead.
It's just bright light in here. Go on, please.
Okay, anyways. No, I'm just think, I think, but like sometimes someone asks you a question about some kind of an irrational,
and that's like what instructors get pissed off about,
right?
Because people can ask a question that is
what
so
if he does an atomic butt drop on your face? Well, I don't know, man. I've never been in that situation.
But the rationalities are much more manageable. So when people ask what ifs, it's like, well, I mean, what if a fucking velociraptor bursts through the wall?
What if someone throws a chair on the mat? I don't know.
What if you roll over a nail that was on the mat and then it goes through your hand and you can't finish your arm bar?
The best one is, what if you can't break the grip?
Yeah.
I mean, if you truly can't break someone's grip, you're fucked. You lose, tap out, go home.
Yeah. I've had some crazy questions recently in some of my classes, but I always just try and find an opportunity to like bring it back to a rational conclusion. Like if they do that, that means that they weren't ready for this, you know?
Yeah.
Like because that's usually what it is. If they do something stupid, then you should take advantage of their stupidity with a rational move, and then just redirect it back to rationality. And that's how you deal with those situations without getting upset.
I can't remember. It's been so long since I've taught it to a class and received for my seminars, I know every question that I've never encountered really a question that I haven't been prepared for, because I've taught this seminar so many times.
Yeah.
I remember though, when I was teaching in Arizona in the very beginning, oh man, all kinds of crazy questions. What's the funniest question you've had recently? Not the funniest. Like you ever get a question and you just think, what a dumb question.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
you can never say that though, right? But you definitely think it.
No, I mean, I think thinking.
I know. So I just made someone mad by saying that, because no question is a dumb question.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what they're here to do. Is to learn and ask those dumb questions.
Of course.
But I don't think. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I just thought it was interesting, like that. Obviously, game theory connects to a lot of any competitive situation. I just didn't fully understand it, but it was cool to kind of understand a little bit better. I opened my mind to it.
Do you ever receive a question and you just like, I don't know how to answer that question? Sorry. Do you ever just say no? Like, sorry, I don't know. If you can't break the grip, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, that's usually what it comes down to. Like, some grips just can't be broken.
Yeah, like you can show, like, okay, here you put your thumb on their thumb and you got to pry their hand open, and then you got to pop your chest and pull, and you can give them all the grip breaking technique information that you have. But if they still can't break the grip, what's the next answer?
Well, I think lapel guard is the perfect example of that, because it's like, well, what do you do if you can't break the grip? Well, you can't do anything. There is nothing you can do. You have to just try to stop them.
I had a guy.
Progressing.
I had a guy in Chicago Open. I remember he was a judo guy. Do you remember that judo guy from Chicago Open? He's from Kazakhstan. Do you remember him?
I remember
he had sick judo. He had sick judo. His takedowns were amazing. I forgot his name too. I don't remember. Anyways, but he wasn't well versed in like the submissions aspect. Like he would always get a sick takedown and then like I don't know, he'd get swept or something. Anyways, but I had him in worm guard. It was the first worm guard sweep that I did in an adult black belt competition. That's why I remember it. But I had the worm guard all hooked up, and this guy was such a beast. He just started to posture. You know, Kazakhs are so strong, and he just started to posture hard to try to basically break my grip with his deadlift power, and he ripped his own gi.
Wow,
because he couldn't break the grip.
Yeah,
couldn't break the grip, but the gi ripped, and then we had to pause and change the gi. Yeah. Anyways, I got the sweep eventually.
Yeah. Lapel guard's really been doing well lately. That lapel guard's Instagram. So many people are doing it now, and people are finally starting to do like a lot of the submissions that I was showing from there that I never really hit in competition because I just did the same armbar one over and over. I saw a fat ninja today.
The worm bar is the best one, I think.
I mean, well, it's really good, but now I saw someone hit the lapel Flavio Canto from Gubber Guard, which I had been showing for a while, and that's the first time I saw someone do it in competition.
You said amazing. Fat Ninja did it?
Fat Ninja, yeah.
What's his name? Igor. I like that guy.
And then the guy
he's super stoic.
The guy he put the guy to sleep with it, and then the ref came over to wake him up, and the guy woke up and double legged the ref. You want to see? It was pretty. I don't know. I don't think I can show you.
You can't? It's not on YouTube.
Could if we want to go.
Don't get us flagged, man. Oh, what's that? Oh.
The election.
Oh, can the people see that?
Not yet.
Okay, it's the election map. The famous blue and red election map that every American has seen 100 times.
Did you know Instagram? You can message on Instagram on web now.
Yes, I know. They merged all the.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't like it. I don't like it. They merged.
It's like you can literally just use Instagram on the internet now, but you can't post from it. Here it is.
It's weird.
All right, let me switch. I can go like this. Yes.
Are we going to give the people an explanation why we haven't been around, or should we just leave it?
Sure. Watch this.
Let's just ignore the elephant in the room.
Yeah, we'll just watch this. So Fat Ninja's on the bottom.
Okay.
I can actually use my little
Gubber Guard
Tanabe gets the Gubber Guard, so the lapel's over his leg like that.
It's over his ankle.
And then you grab.
That's not Gubber Guard. That's not Gubber Guard.
It is Gubber Guard.
That's warm plata.
He grabs the very lapel itself, and I show this on the lapel encyclopedia. And then you bring your leg over, and it creates the tightest Flavio Canto choke ever. So sick. He doesn't even control the arm, and then he puts the guy out. And then watch this. The guy calls it. The guy's out.
Yeah.
Fat Ninja gets up, and then the guy.
Shit.
And takes the guy down fast and hard.
Bro.
Just out of nowhere.
He was not asleep. He was playing possum.
You think so?
Bro, he went from dead to 100%.
Maybe he just almost.
Nobody does that.
I mean, you see it happen in the UFC all the time after knockouts.
No, they're never like that though. That's 100%. They wake up and maybe go like 75%. This guy woke up and went 100%. That's amazing. So it's when he brings the lapel over his head and under his neck.
Right. And then you just tuck your wrist under the neck.
Yeah, I remember when you came up with this.
Yeah.
Even though the lapel trap is mine.
You definitely made this position a lot stronger with your discoveries on how you can go to the monopolar from there. I didn't understand that at all. Which is what's so cool. Which is what is so cool about.
He really went from 0 to 100.
That's what's so cool about the lapel guard system is so many people contributed to it over the years.
It's true.
And then it became this whole new orchard of potentiality.
It's open source jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's open. Yeah, it really is. And a lot of people really contributed to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to just show you that real fast.
Who was it that originally had kind of come up? I thought it was Carbolito, but correct me if I'm wrong. They were doing when they set up the worm guard from the top position. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that was a long time
ago. Yeah, it was.
It was
kind of like the counter. Like you would set it up from the bottom and then he would reset it up from the top.
No one uses that though, because it kind of just creates like a 50-50 position,
right?
You know? But yeah, that I think that was Carbolito and maybe Mike Perez too was doing something like that. But it's pretty ineffective. There's many ways to deal with lapel guard, and usually grabbing their lapel is not the best way.
Right.
But also no one really knows the ways. I'm thinking about potentially maybe just throwing a wrench into the whole thing and just showing all the defenses, because I have a lot of them. Well,
that should be its own little instructional that you can sell.
Yeah, I mean,
don't give it away for free, Keenan.
I just find it amazing that there still aren't really any good legitimate counters to the move.
Yeah, I feel that way about the hanger team too.
Yeah. I mean, that means it's a good system, right?
Well, that means that you've seen so many options that people come up with to defend it. It's like when I'm in the monoplata, you know, I will literally sit there and let people try to escape because I want to see what the next escape thing is that I haven't seen yet, because I've seen them all.
Yeah.
I've seen them all.
That's the real power of systems and learning systems from people who know them, is because they've literally spent a ton of time in that rabbit hole, finding every
nook and
rational option, you know,
right.
What's next, what actually works.
And of course there's always irrational options, but, yeah, I don't know. And then when you do see one, you get to create the patch, right? It's like a dam, a big water wall, right? And some water leaks through and you're like, you patch it.
That Flexitape.
And actually, I always tell people, you gave me one of the best defenses to the monoplata situation. When you grabbed my gi pant, you just held it up in the air. You didn't put it up over your head. You didn't put it in your guard because you knew what would happen, but you would just hold it up in the air.
When I'm already in monoplata?
Yeah, you're already in it. And
I remember this.
Yeah, so you grab the pants and you just kind of punch my leg up into the air, because if you put it over your head, I have a thing. If you put it in your guard, I have a thing. But if you just held it there in the air, I didn't have a thing.
I don't remember.
And I always tell people,
has it been like a year since we rolled? Last time we rolled was in the, I think, of that UFC gym when we filmed that little Matburn intro, actually.
No, one time in here I did.
We did?
Yeah. Because you didn't have this place, right? That's why we were there.
It was like in the process of being built.
We've definitely trained in here. It's happened.
Interesting.
It's been a little while, but it's happened.
Yeah. I've been out with my back injury.
Well, let's go right now.
I can't roll. Oh. I'm on some heavy anti-inflammatories.
I've been out on vacation. I just got back from Cabo San Lucas.
Well, let's talk about like why we haven't been around. And I mean, I think everyone knows. I mean, shit's just been crazy, and like
everyone knows that it's Keenan's fault.
Have you been telling people that?
No, I don't.
It is my fault. I accept responsibility.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
excellent.
I have been extremely busy.
I definitely hit you up a few times, but I understood because you were developing the website, and I think a lot of people know that. Also, Jiu-Jitsu X was in development. We were making the instructionals. And shit happens. You get busy. You know, I traveled. I had some seminars. I've been out of the country for the past 2 weeks, and before that, I had a seminar tour.
Yeah, what was happening essentially is I was starting two businesses at the same time. Starting this website, working with all these athletes, opening the gym again through a coronavirus lockdown. Had to reopen it, get all our members back.
Yeah.
Had to run this website at the same time, organize all these instructionals. Actually, getting injured was the best thing to happen for that, because then I could actually do it.
Get work done.
Like, because I was just training for.
How'd you hurt your back?
Deadlifting. Yeah. I was deadlifting.
You should have listened to all those Instagram commenters that were telling you that your technique was fucked up.
Yeah, I was deadlifting, and I was trying to go up to weight that I was doing in the past, and then I walked away from the deadlift platform, and I just felt something weird in my back, and that same day I just couldn't move. I was just like on a couch.
Like 4 hours later?
No, like 20 minutes later.
Serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's no good.
And
that's a real one.
Yeah. And I was just locked up. My lower back was just completely locked up, and
you had to pull out of something because of that. What was it? Fight to Win?
Fight to Win. That was Gabriel Amita, but then I had to pull out of another match. I was supposed to go against Keenan.
Yeah?
I really want. I think that would have been great, but I have no.
In the gi?
No gi.
No gi. So he can get his revenge.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been fulfilled with my other stuff I've got going on.
I mean, at the end of the day, the podcast is a hobby, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would like it to be more, but it's just incredibly difficult to do so much.
It's a hobby for me.
Like, think about how many jobs. Like, podcasting is almost a full-time job.
It's again, we've said this before, and we'll say it again. It's way more time consuming than anyone realizes.
Sorry about my screen switching as well, guys. I'm still figuring this out. This is like a kind of hodgepodge.
Can they only see what you have it on?
Yeah, it only records what I'm showing, but I keep switching between you, me, and then the desktop just over and over again. I need to just relax a little.
Just relax, bro.
But yeah, the podcast, we were really plugging away at it for a long time, and it was just right before all the craziness hit.
Yeah, but you didn't have a gym, you didn't have a website, and
yeah, we didn't have more to do. But I think now more than ever, it's important to kind of like almost get off social media as a way of communicating with people.
I'm gonna show you guys something right now,
communicate with people
real quick. I want you guys to see this real quick.
It would be. I would like to only post through like long form video.
I'm gonna show you my Facebook and how it's been for the past 9 or 10 days. No, definitely for the past 2 weeks, I've had my Facebook like this.
Mine's been like that too.
I logged the fuck out and
yeah.
I didn't log in. You guys should try that because it's been glorious.
But then I guess got sucked into other platforms. Then I fell into the Twitterverse, which I had never been in before.
Fuck that. I
had never been on Twitter. I was like, Twitter's stupid. Instagram's where it's a hat. And then I stopped using Instagram as much. And then I started going on Twitter and I realized it's a whole different ball game. It's just like, that's like the real chaos is on Twitter.
That's where all the politicians are. All the politicians are there. So that's where all the politician haters are. And then there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
No, I've not been on Facebook. It's been great. I mean, I'm still on Instagram. I need my Instagram, but
yeah.
Hey guys, don't be afraid to detox for a little while. Just go ahead and log it out. It's so much easier if you log out, as opposed to like, oh, just close the app. Cause then you can just click it. It opens, it's there. You got to log out of it and you got to give yourself a really difficult password, something that you can't even remember. That's what I do. My passwords are so complicated because I had a crazy girlfriend one time who tried to hack in all my shit. You know about this. And, after we broke up, I said, man, I got to change all my passwords like big time. And I made them just the most horrendously difficult. And they're all unique. Every single one of them is unique.
How do you remember them?
I can't tell you that. Okay, I can. I have it written down on paper and inside my safe. It's literally inside my safe. And literally, I don't remember my Facebook password. And I have to open my safe, get my paper out to log back into Facebook.
That's nothing, bro. What I do is I type in a random password each time and reset my password every single time.
That's actually really good.
So that no matter what, I don't even know my own password.
Yeah,
I only know the password to my email.
That's a phenomenal idea.
And then
is there a limit to how many times you can reset a password?
You just can reset it infinitely. So you just reset every single time and then just make sure that your email password is super secure.
Guys, that's a great idea. You should all do that.
I don't do that actually, but that's kind of what ends up happening anyways because I just forget the passwords.
I forget my passwords all the time.
I must send reset confirmations to myself like a couple times a day for various things, like various software.
That's a great idea.
Platform.
That's a good way to manage yourself.
At a certain point, it's just like they get lost anyways. Even when you save the passwords in your phone, somehow when you go on your laptop, it's not saved anymore. You don't know where to find it. You got to go into your phone and look for the saved thing.
And to be honest, I get nervous about the saving the passwords on the phone. Like, I don't know. Like, I know these things are high tech. I know this fucking thing.
For all you know, that's like your fucking barcode of your existence. Maybe there's just some higher elite
for sure
infrastructure that just this thing's just fucking training us,
Yeah, for sure.
Just act in a certain way and be a certain way.
What's that guy? Tim Cook, right? Is he the Apple guy?
Cook, yeah.
Tim Cook. Yeah, like maybe this is just like.
Do you ever look at your screen time? I challenge everyone in the audience to do this. Go on if you have an iPhone, go to screen time
for today
in your settings, just like throughout the week.
Right. Today I'm already at 4 hours. It's only one.
It's like, and all we've been doing is just
only 1 p.m.
here, and we've spent 4 hours. Like some days,
it's scary,
bro.
It
happens. It's just like you're on your phone all day.
8 hours,
right?
8
half
hours
the day looking at a screen. That's an incredible amount of time.
It can't be good.
At something.
Can't be good for your eyes.
Like people, do you remember I remember when I was younger, my parents would always tell me like, most people watch TV like 4 to 7 hours a day. And that was like bad. That's what my parents would tell me all the time. 4 to 7 hours was like bad watching TV. But a lot of people do that. And that was been a national pastime for a long time. But now the TV comes around with you and it's in your bed and it's in the bathroom and it's on your restaurants.
Literally a million channels.
And it's infinite content, infinite information and
YouTube
content.
is just millions and millions of channels. Millions.
The YouTube phenomenon is incredible. I found this guy on YouTube recently. It's called, so there's this whole subcategory on YouTube called bushcraft. You know what bushcraft is?
Never heard of it.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's people who go out into the bush, like the wilderness, and they craft things. It's essentially Minecraft in real life. So they go out with like a pocket knife, and they're like, I'm going to go out here for 3 days and try and survive. And they just wander off into like a local thing.
They just start carving up branches and building shit.
Exactly. Just like starting fires, trying to catch food, see if they can survive for 3 days. And it was because I've been tripping out about this because all the chaos. And I'm like, I've been considerably more worried about like what happens if the grid goes off, like if there's no electricity. If you don't have hot water or water and electricity, I think most of the U.S. would starve overnight, like over the course of a few weeks. Because
no water?
No electricity.
No electricity.
Yeah. So you could find water.
So we have water.
Sure. Like I know a natural creek near my house. Like I could get water from that.
Okay, but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about no electricity.
No electricity.
But we have water.
Sure. Water, okay. You're good. But food, and we live in a city where there's a couple million people. I got 2 million people?
3
million people?
3 in San Diego proper.
So suddenly we have no electricity. I have an electric car. So
you're fucked.
I'm fucked.
You got to call up your boys.
I basically got to use my electric car energy to like get out of the city. You have to leave the city because
sure. Panic will ensue.
Right. Imagine there's like a nationwide EMP. The whole grid gets shut down. No one has electricity. That means all communications are off.
Yes.
Only ham radio works, right? At that point, basically.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't have one.
Don't you need a battery for a ham radio?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, maybe a crank. Like you can.
Well, I think this is the whole, like, okay, so you don't have electricity.
You got those solar panels.
So that means all the refrigerated food in San Diego is rotten within a couple days.
So we got to eat it.
So
first things first, we eat all the food.
Yeah.
Right? That's step one. Load up on calories because soon you're going to be hungry. So eat everything you can within the first hour, right?
Sure.
That's what I would do.
Like just start eating.
Calorie load. Yeah. Peanut butter. Just start putting that. Peanut butter stays.
Just
everything in the fridge.
Cramming.
Everything in the fridge. You'd have to start eating that immediately, right?
Okay.
Because you want you want those calories.
Yeah. I mean, right? Your body is a good calorie storage facility.
Load up. Okay. Then what?
So then it's just like as time goes on, it's you have to, I guess you have to start like linking up solar panels, but the way the grid works, you're not allowed to disconnect from it really. Like the way it's built into houses.
No, but we have the portables one, remember?
That's true.
You gave me the camping
like
one.
That, those would come in handy because at least we could like, but what are we going to connect to? Like who are we going to talk to? Not everyone, very few people have
No, but just for like charging your cell phone so you can play, just kidding.
So basically, I'm fairly certain that if the electricity shut off in the U.S., we would not be getting food delivered to our grocery stores anymore.
No, for sure, no.
And so people would have to find their own food. And how the fuck do you do that in a
maybe
city?
There would be food distribution centers. I think the National Guard would roll in. They'd set up food distribution centers.
Yeah, but it would be chaos. It would literally be like...
Yeah, for sure.
It's the same as if the U.S. was like under attack by bombs. So
where would you drive to?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So these bushcraft guys... They go out into the wilderness and they try and survive, and they just go with a GoPro.
What's their set? What's their environment?
This one guy I was following, he goes to all these Indonesian islands. He lives in Australia.
Okay, tropical.
And he'll just go on Google Maps and he'll just like zoom in and be like, that island looks sick, and then find out how to get there.
Okay.
Whether it's like boat charters or flights or whatever. And
that's easy though. You can fish, you can hunt.
I mean,
fruit,
it's
there's
easy,
trees.
but think about what you do. Like
Try the desert.
We spend 8 hours a day on our phones. Like you got to work 8 hours a day trying to find food and water. And so that's what you do in these survival environments. You're on the beach and you got to like find some fish. You got to like find coconuts and be cracking open those coconuts, looking for crabs. And he just like cooks up crabs and seafood. Essentially. He'll go out and eat a sea cucumber. He'll just swim out and like find some urchins.
Yeah.
The ocean is quite bountiful when it comes to food is what I noticed from these things. And, it's just, I don't know. I think I could do it now after watching 5 hours of these videos and seeing some of the basic tactics. Like I saw him start a fire with a piece of glass. I was like, oh, that doesn't look so hard. He used the glass as like a magnifying thing, start a fire. Okay, I could do that. Fishing's a little bit harder. I'd definitely be eating crabs and the snails on the rocks like he was.
Well, you got a gun, right?
But you got nothing, bro.
Wait, no, those guys have nothing. But we're talking about doomsday, no electricity in the United States.
Okay, let's say the government takes our guns before this happens.
They can't do that. That would never happen.
Taken from us.
I know you sound like
EMP.
Okay,
so worst case. Okay, think about it like this. So
we don't have guns.
Let's just go pre-civilization. What happens if there's no civilization? How do you survive? Are you going to build a little house?
Well, okay. So when I was younger and I was craving adventure and something unique, because I've always wanted to have a very unique life, right? And I thought about trying to buy an island in the Philippines for $40,000. You can get
not bad.
Yeah, you can get a few acres. Like the Philippines has thousands of islands, just little islands that are the size of your gym,
Okay.
Maybe a little bit bigger. But I was thinking 40,000-50,000 and just build a little house like into the ground. I'd probably like build it into the ground, right? So that because of that, when the storms come, it doesn't blow it over or anything. And I put a lot of thought into it, and I thought, I'd just fish and have a little farm.
I think you want to build above ground.
Why?
Like you want to go up rather than down.
But what about the hurricanes or something? Or typhoons?
I guess you need both. You need like a cellar.
Got a basement.
You need an above ground to just be away from like snakes and like pretty.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So you got to like build it like a couple feet off the ground or like in a tree.
You could have both.
Yeah.
You got time.
Anyways, all I'm saying is that most of us don't know how to survive when there's no infrastructure.
For sure. 90% of the population is dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It would be an extinction level event if the electricity goes off. Like there would not be enough National Guards people to supply all 300 million people with food.
Well, look, food can be grown and transported with gasoline, right? Coordination would be impossible.
But can the food be grown and transported with electricity? Without electricity?
Well, we have solar panels that can charge batteries that can power radios, right? So we can communicate with radios.
Yeah.
So then we can say, look, we're going to have a distribution center, and farming can still happen. There's still sunshine and water, so farming can still happen. There's still gasoline, so we can transport food.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a Mad Max situation, I guess.
I just think the paranoia, the people, the chaos would make everything difficult.
That's the real wild card.
People start acting wild.
You never know what people are going to do.
People, crazy ass people.
But what I want to do is I want to go try and start a fire in the wild. That's probably illegal. I want to try. Okay, I won't do it in the wild.
You can do it in your backyard. Yeah, do it in your backyard.
Oh, baby steps. I'll start in my backyard. I want to do this one.
No, you got to make a bow. Yeah, I know that one.
But that's what I've noticed is the whole bow thing where you take the bow
with
and
a string
wrap it around once and you go like this.
Yes, way easier.
Spins it really fast.
Yes.
Of all these bushcrafters, none of them do that. Because it's more effort to make the bow than it is to just do this. Because when you're good at this, you can do it in like 20 seconds.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying I probably can't, but these guys, they just fucking go out.
And don't you have to split the wood? The one you're doing that on?
They put it on some sort of friction board,
right?
And then they cut a little.
It's split, right?
Yeah, and then you put that over something, and then that somehow creates a coal that you then like flip out of the wood onto a leaf, and then you just gently coax the flame.
It's always so interesting to watch someone's hand movements while they're talking, because it doesn't make any sense. Like if I couldn't hear your words, I would literally have no idea what the fuck you were trying to communicate to me.
I'm a big body language speaker.
Think about how often we use our hands to speak, and how just irrational. I don't know how inefficient the hand movement actually is. Like
I think it's incredibly efficient. There's an entire language around hand movements.
Yes, but the hand movements that you and I do while we're verbally communicating, like what I'm doing with my hands, I'm just shaking my hands around and doing shit like this. This is stupid. Like this doesn't mean anything.
Stupid, Josh.
Like what does this signify to you?
Grabbing someone's balls.
Obviously. But that's not what we're talking about, is it?
So, yeah. So let's just like when I live back in Point Loma, I had this obsession with I had this my whole life, being obsessed with natural disasters. You probably don't know that.
You're an obsessive kind of guy.
It's true. Well, you got to be obsessive to get anything done.
Natural disasters, huh? I did not know that.
Yeah, natural disasters. I've been freaked out about natural disasters my whole life because I grew up in Hawaii and we had tsunami alarms every month.
Yeah.
And that was very traumatizing for me.
From Japan, right? The earthquakes in Asia.
Just any all sides.
Or California too,
They
yeah.
come from anywhere.
California.
Hawaii, like you don't know what angle you're going to get washed over.
That's true. Because you guys are in the center of the ring of fire. So literally the entire Pacific is surrounded by volcanoes and earthquakes.
Sure.
So
I mean, a big meteor hitting the water would probably wipe out Hawaii.
Yeah.
The rest of the world would be fine if it was just small enough situation. Anyways, every month they have this siren that goes off, and you have to like double check that it's the test siren, because the actual sirens are frequent enough that you have to double check the test sirens, because probably once every 2 years there's a legit like warning, but then nothing happens. But it's like there was an earthquake or something happens, and you have to go uphill essentially, because you're on this big mountain in the ocean. You go up a certain amount of.
Which island were you on?
The Big Island.
So it's the biggest hill.
It's the biggest hill.
Okay.
The biggest island.
That's got the biggest peak.
You would be safe on, like you could survive even probably a super tsunami.
Is that where the observatory is?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that badass observatory.
Yeah, Mount Kilauea.
Yeah. Okay.
So, anyways, that always freaked me out. So growing up, I started to obsess about like zombie invasions for a long time, and I was like, that's what I want to be prepared for, is like a zombie outbreak. But that was when I was younger, But then now I'm more thinking about like realistic stuff, and the thing that freaks me out the most now is an EMP that wipes out the grid. I think that is the most catastrophic thing that can
probably
occur.
The most likely, I guess.
The most likely and the most potentially catastrophic.
The most doable.
The most
for the evil villains of the world.
Sure, it's like a legitimately good strategy, if that's what you wanted to do, is take out the grid system. which is quickly becoming not a valid strategy, not a rational strategy in the game because of battery storage.
Because of Elon.
Because of Elon. Hey. And so that brings me to my next point, my second Tesla, Josh.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Keenan bought a second Tesla, not to show off or anything, right?
No.
But
it is an entirely rational purchase that makes sense financially if my presumptions are correct.
Okay. Let's hear about it. The business model.
All right. So
as soon as you told me you bought a second Tesla, I knew for sure you did this to put that car to work. You're going to taxi out that service, right?
Sure, like that
self-driving taxi service, or
that's one thing that they're talking about a lot is if they can do the autonomous driving thing, eventually have a robotaxi.
Robotaxi, right? Okay.
Then if you have the Tesla and you bought this full self-driving, you're supposed to be able to enlist it in their fleet, and make some money. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's actually going to play out, how that plays out. But one thing I noticed.
Whoa! Earthquake, tsunami drill.
So.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm still very skeptical about this. I haven't been able to come to terms with this as a reality. I don't know if I'm just being completely insane or if this is a valid option.
Did you buy this? Did you pay for it outright or did you finance it?
I financed it.
You financed it.
Yeah. The first one, this only works if you own the first one.
Smart man.
So I own the other one outright. So my first Tesla is owned. I traded in my charger for it. And then paid some cash to pay off the full thing. So it's been owned, and I was like, this is a huge win. I've got this car. I don't have to pay gas on it. All I have to worry about is insurance and maintenance, which is basically non-existent on Tesla. Which I haven't had to bring it in for maintenance. I've had it for 2 years. I mean, what?
Zero
just
maintenance?
The wheels turn. Yeah.
For 2 years?
Yeah. I mean, what's going to break on it? It's an electric car.
There's no brake pads, or
it has brake pads, but it uses regenerative braking, so the brake pads don't even wear out. It just uses electromagnetic field resistance to generate a current that charges the battery as it's braking.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, this is great, zero cost basically for ownership of this vehicle. I mean, obviously it's not zero because I did pay for it and I used another car to pay it off. But it's like you own an asset essentially. But is it really an asset if it's not making money? It's still depreciating.
Yes.
So I was just super stoked on the technology and Elon, and I'm just like a big fanboy, whatever. But so they've got this full self-driving thing, this license you buy, and I think it only applies to the car that you buy it on. Like, so this full self-driving license, you can't buy it and then buy a new Tesla and then transfer the full self-driving license to the new Tesla.
Oh,
you have to buy another one.
It's just for the specific
for
car.
That one car. So it only lasts as long as you have the car, I think.
Okay.
Which I think is kind of like, that sucks. You would think that you get to own it, but it's software, and this is untrod territory. No one's been down this road before.
So you couldn't buy this license for your current car?
I did. It was available for sale when I bought my car for $5,000, but it was almost non-existent. It was just lane keeping. It was just stay in the lane. Okay. And so I was like, I mean, I trust Elon. I think he's going to do it. I'm going in. I'm buying this thing $5,000. So now if you try and buy it, it's $10,000. The price is raised.
Was it 8?
It was 8 like last week.
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
Now it's 10.
Now it's 10. Why?
Damn it.
It's doubled.
Because when I was looking at Teslas, it was 8.
So why do you think it doubled, Josh? Why do you think the price of that full self-driving?
Well, obviously, it's getting better.
It's getting better, right? So because this license is applied to my car, that means my car's value goes up too, right? So has my car value gone up $5,000 because I bought this full self-driving thing for $5,000? If I were to sell my car, would I add that $10,000 price tag onto my car's price?
Yeah.
Right.
As long as the software is updated.
Yeah. I mean, it's still updated. I mean, it goes with the car. So if someone else buys this car, they get my full self-driving license.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the full self-driving price the night before it changes, and it's $8,000. And I know my car, I bought it at $5,000. And then now my car has gone up $3,000 in value because I bought it at $5,000. Now it's $8,000. And I'm looking at the new Tesla. I'm like, that's $8,000. Tomorrow it goes up to $10,000. If I buy this Tesla now, is that $2,000 going to be applied to my car? Will it instantly appreciate?
Yeah.
$2,000 worth of value? And so I was like, okay, well, I don't want to just buy a new Tesla just to like bank on this potentially having value. But so I found Turo. You know Turo?
I've heard of it.
Heard of Turo?
I'm not sure what.
Turo is a car rental app. It's essentially like Airbnb for cars.
Yeah.
And I was looking at Turo and I started doing some research and I was like, wait a second. How much money can you make from Turo? And it's the average is about $700 a month for renting out your car.
700,
which is almost exactly what the loan payment is on a Tesla.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, these cars are like cell phones, like they're like technology. It's going to be outdated eventually, right? But there is this weird like wild card component of the full self-driving license raising in value over time. Who knows how valuable that will be when the car can actually drive itself, like legitimately, which it's definitely going in that direction. If anyone doubts that, go and look at full self-driving beta, the recent videos, like in the last week,
on YouTube.
Beta, and it's going to do it. Like it's very close. This is a matter of polishing at this point. They have this technology.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, 2 cars. Tomorrow, both these cars, if I were to buy both these cars, tomorrow, the overall value will be a $4,000 value increase between the 2 cars.
Yeah.
Because it goes up by $2,000
for both cars,
right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, if I can rent this thing out for $700 a month, the current one that I have with no costs except the insurance
pays for itself.
Pays for the second car.
Yeah. The second car pays for itself.
Yeah. The first car doesn't even have to be rented on Turo.
So and like San Diego has a fair amount of tourism.
Well, that's the thing. So that's the thing. I've been renting it out.
Right.
And it works. I can easily make $700 a month off this car.
So, but is that 700 assuming that this car is working full time? Or is this like just on the weekends or something?
I mean, you just rent. I have it listed on Turo, and you just leave it open, and it's just whoever rents it. I had 2 people rent it so far for a total of like $500.
So they paid $250.
About it.
Was for the day?
4 days.
Couple days.
One guy like drove it to Riverside and was like doing some stuff.
Were they tourists?
I didn't really ask. I just that's the hardest part about this is to actually just like letting go of your
car
and just being okay with people renting it.
But insurance covers it if they steal it.
Yeah, it's all insured by Turo. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's almost foolish not to buy a Tesla if it's raising in value because of this full self-driving.
Why didn't you tell me they were going to raise the price, bro?
I mean, you just got to pay attention. I don't know if this plot is going to pay off. I don't know if this full self-driving is going to be worth $20,000 one day, $100,000 one day.
I've been pondering a Tesla for like 6 months.
There's a lot of uncertainty here on what you can actually do with this thing, because I suspect that eventually when they have this full self-driving software, you're not going to be able to buy a Tesla, because why would they sell it to you if they can just have it drive for them autonomously and they keep all the money? Why would they sell Tesla?
You think they would stop selling cars?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a paradigm shift going on where you won't be able to buy non-self-driving car, or you will, but it would be stupid because the cost per car, the cost of owning your own car would be so exponentially, so much more expensive than the car rental service or the ride share service of an autonomous vehicle, that it's hard to even wrap your brain around what that future could look like. But I think that's where it's going. Like why you
ever seen the Minority Report?
Yeah.
And there's all those little pods just kind of flying around, and you can just like hail a pod.
I think that's real. Like that's what's happening.
Like, no one owns the pods, right? Yeah. Like someone owns it, like corporation owns it, but like the people don't own the pods, and you get in, you sit down, and every pod is the same, and
right. So if you pay a couple bucks a day to get to where you need to go for your trip, why not just like rent the Tesla? So then the Tesla goes and drives to its charging station, where it then becomes a battery for the grid, essentially. Like wherever the Tesla chargers are, they can be like balancing the grid storage into their cars and recharging them, getting them cleaned, and then they go off and drive and pick someone else up. So this all comes down to like if you get to be a part of it. So like as a Tesla owner, do you get to be a part of this grand scheme of the future? Like, do you get to get paid off in any way? Does the car raise in value? I don't know. I need to get a second car because people in my family need a second car to be able to move around and do things right now. So I was like, okay, this is the perfect time. I need to get a second car.
You had a good reason.
Yeah. So all of this happened at the same time, where it's like, I'm not just doing it. I have to get a second car for the people in my house.
Right.
And the optimal time would be to do it in a way where the buy of the car also results in $4,000 value gain.
Did you put a down payment on it, or just straight finance 100%?
The down payment would be $4,500.
Okay.
Which isn't that bad really for this car.
That's so average.
Yeah. $4,500 is like, okay, I gotta go,
I put more down on my Honda.
Yeah. And this is a vehicle that is not really a normal car. It has all of these unseen potentialities of like battery storage and self-driving. And
do you know how to make the car dance?
Only the Model X dances.
Only the Model X dances.
Yeah, I think. Anyways, that's my Tesla scheme. I'm going to use my first Tesla to pay off a second Tesla.
So which one did you have, the S or the 3?
Model 3.
The S is the bigger one. That's like a 3.
That's like the fancy, like luxury version one.
It's shaped like the 3, but bigger.
Kind of. I mean, they're just both sedans.
That's what Drysdale has, I think.
Yeah, those are nice ones.
Yeah. Interesting.
And so the other thing is they just recently like extended the range on the Model 3 to like 353 miles. Mine has 285. And so if you're going to keep, if in the future you have to upgrade your car like you upgrade your phone, it would make sense to use the previous car to make some money somehow. Like you can't rent out an iPhone, but you can rent out a car. So it's like this weird like mix between a house and a cell phone as an asset in this vehicle that you can rent on Turo, potentially put it into a ride sharing network one day that Tesla manages, and you get a cut up because it's your car.
Are most of the cars on Turo just regular cars? Like
yeah, most of them are regular
gas cars.
There's a few Teslas on there, and they all go for like $100 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you set your own price?
Yeah.
So you can undercut other people?
Yeah. What I was doing was just setting it to auto price. And then it just like automatically undercuts everyone.
Does it?
Well, yeah, because Turo wants the cars rented. If they can rent all their cars, that's good for them as long as it works out with their expenses, which is insurance, I guess. Only.
So where do you meet these people? Do they come to your house?
Yeah, you can just leave the pickup location anywhere.
So you can you drop your car off?
It's weird for sure. It's not like...
But would they come to your house? Is that an option?
Yeah.
Come to your house, pick it up?
Yeah. That's what I did.
Because otherwise you got to drive somewhere, drop it off, and then someone's got to come pick you up.
Right. And so there's all sorts of these weird little upsell options. Like you can offer delivery, or you can offer like a pre-charge where they pay more. It's a pretty crazy app. Like I'm surprised more people don't use this app, or it's not more widely known, because because a lot of people use Turo. They rent out cars on Turo just so they can drive for Uber. So they actually rent out a car on Turo for like $65 a day and then make $200 a day doing Uber. And then they return the car when they're done Ubering for that week. So if you have a little bit of money and you don't have a car, but you need to make money, you can rent a car on Turo.
I know a guy who needs money and doesn't have a car.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell him to do this. He rents a car on Turo.
Yeah.
And then Ubers all weekend.
And here's the trick. Rent a Tesla on Turo so you don't have to pay gas.
Yeah.
And then you rent a Tesla. They're like $60 to $100 on Turo.
Per day.
Per day.
So you got to at least be able to Uber that in one day.
Yeah.
You got to hustle.
Which I think is I think that's realistic. I think people can do that. Especially because Uber doesn't pay your gas.
Right.
If you drive for Uber, they won't reimburse you gas. So just on gas savings alone, the car might be paying for itself, because you drive a lot if you're Ubering.
Right.
You might spend 20 to $30 a day on.
I wish I could lease out my jiu-jitsu skills.
Yeah. Anyways, I just think the world's changing very fast.
I thought we'd have to throw jiu-jitsu in there at some point because it is a jiu-jitsu episode.
I mean, if you're a jiu-jitsu guy who doesn't know how to make money,
which is pretty much a lot of them,
Uber is probably the best job for you. If you can get on Uber or Postmates or something.
All the best jiu-jitsu guys are Uber drivers and Postmates drivers and Uber Eats drivers. Really? So many of them.
Is that what guys at Atos are doing?
So many of them.
Yeah,
so many.
It's just so convenient. It's just like you can make your own hours. You just drive around and chill, I guess.
Right, because that way you can train whenever you want, and then when you're not training, you're driving. So
right, that's what Jacob does here, and he just does it when he needs money, because he's sponsored by the Fighter House.
He lives in the house.
Yeah, the Fighter's Choice Fighters House, so he doesn't have to pay rent.
Just food money.
That's it. Which he like
easy.
He drives on weekends. And
he probably does Uber Eats, and he just like nibbles on the food a little bit.
I imagine how many people don't pick up their order, or the order gets canceled and you're stuck with the food. You probably can get quite a few.
You think that's ever happened? Do you think an Uber Eats driver has ever taken some nibbles out of your meal?
Well, no. Now
depends on the packaging. On the packaging.
Now they have like the tamper-proof tape that goes across the bag. So it's like, if this has been broken, don't eat.
All they need to do is get a hold of the tape.
Make like an incision on the side of the bag and then glue it shut after you like get in there.
I bet.
There's been so many, like, I'm sure that the food is just left constantly by people who order it.
Left?
Yeah, they just don't pick it up, or they order it and they cancel the order and you're stuck with
the
food.
For sure.
So much. I'm sure that happens all the time.
For sure.
Anyways, I think it's a fantastic way for young dudes who don't have any skills besides jiu-jitsu to just make a little bit of money. And for people who own a Tesla, I suggest putting it on Turo.
Well, Paulie, what I was thinking about, I've always wanted a moped, like a Vespa, like just a badass little moped. And I think, man, if I had one, I could Turo my car, and just like, I don't really go anywhere. Everywhere I need to go is about 2 miles from my house.
That's what I'm saying. Anyone with a car when you only use it for 2 hours a day or less, there's 22 hours of the day the car's not being used.
Put it to work.
And there's this app now that exists, the wonders of Silicon Valley.
This episode is sponsored by Turo. Just kidding. I mean,
it's incredible. That's like what the future holds, is all of these different weird platforms creating new markets for people. Like that's what value is you're providing value to the public. Like you're creating an economic stability in a way, no matter what you create, whether it's jujitsu or a car app, you're trying to improve society in some way.
If you could lease out your jujitsu, would you?
Like I just suck at jujitsu for that day?
Someone takes your jiu-jitsu skills for the day. They're going to pay you a certain amount of money. Maybe they have a competition or something, right? And it's like they get to lease your jiu-jitsu for 4 hours. Yes, your jiu-jitsu sucks for those 4 hours. You cannot do jiu-jitsu, and they get to take your skills, but they're stuck with their own body type. They don't get to change the body type. They don't get Keenan flexibility.
I mean, maybe you can do this with like Neuralink one day when you upload your consciousness.
You don't get the power of someone's physical.
So I have my consciousness uploaded into Neuralink, and then you have your Neuralink, and I'm just like, hey Josh, I can send you over my jiu-jitsu skills for the day if you want, but I'm gonna set a little timer on it, so after 4 hours I'm gonna give it back and you gotta pay me.
I'll be like, Keenan, I gotta do this D competition.
It's gonna be $30, bro.
That's a deal. I'll take it.
4 hours.
Fuck yeah, I would pay that. Yeah, to have some Keenan lapel wizardry. I know this shit. I just don't know it fast enough. You know what I mean? Like I know the stuff, but I gotta like go real slow and think about it, and like I gotta like remember like, oh shit, you know. And then like you can go to ADCC and borrow some guillotine skills.
That's what I've learned from starting different businesses now is like
you gotta get close to that microphone.
I started to understand value more. Like value really just means helping people.
Yes.
Right?
Well, any successful business has somehow solved a problem that society has.
Yes.
Right? Gyms. Society has a problem with obesity. Gyms trying to solve that problem.
Yeah. It's like happiness too. It's like if you exercise, you're happier. If you're happier, you're going to be nicer in the world. So it's like exercise actually makes the world a better place. So
this professor I used to work with when I was in grad school, he did a paper on philanthropy and entrepreneurs and how is it different? And it's really not. They are different, right? Because one is like your charity, you're doing it for free to help. But that's what entrepreneurship is, right? You're helping people with their problems. Like I'm a jiu-jitsu entrepreneur. I travel around. I teach people jiu-jitsu. I'm giving them something to make their lives better, to solve a problem that they have. Maybe their jiu-jitsu sucks, or maybe they don't know how to hold someone's head long enough.
Okay, so where does music fit into this? How does music?
Well,
are musicians entrepreneurs for creating music?
Yeah, it's what is music? Why do people listen to music? It's the most powerful stimulant I think anyone can really take. Like music can impact your mood tremendously.
Yeah.
So people, when they're sad, they need music.
Sure.
It's like an antidepressant.
That's what I'm saying. Is it's almost the problem solving is like
you're contributing value to the environment you're creating. With
so then what happens with these? So are we seeing with like Facebook and social media? They did a really good job and it was making people a lot happier. And then there's this unforeseen psychological component that is just throwing the whole, and now it just makes people less
and now
happy.
There's a problem, right? So now social media is a problem. It solved a lot of problems with communication. It created a
new problem.
But it created new problems. It's a electronic device addiction.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it's.
But not just that, but like cultural problems.
Yeah, sure.
It's creating these subsects of beliefs.
Well,
all these different little spheres of understanding that are not. They just don't reconcile.
Maybe this is a good time to plug my friends at BJJ Link.
Okay.
The only jiu-jitsu only social network in the world. Yes, I said that on purpose like that. The only jiu-jitsu only. So, you know what I mean? So if you're sick of like some
Christian mingle, but for jiu-jitsu.
or East find East or East only or something like that.
I don't know. The rest of that.
There's like an East only app for people like
for Asians only.
Yeah, East Asians who want to find East Asians.
Yeah, I mean,
because in a lot of Asian families, it's very important that you keep it in the family with the cultural family. You know.
Yeah,
I know because
BJJ Link. I personally have not used BJJ Link yet.
Well, you should check it out because they're always adding new features. Well, it's on the App Store.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Well, and then they're always adding new features that complement and enhance your game, like a training journal, for example. And they have a full library of videos and with techniques and highlights, and they have a lineage tree, so you can verify people's bullshit belts. You know, right? Okay. Is there a lineage out there you want to talk shit on right now, real quick?
I mean,
real quick.
Yeah, all of.
Nah, just kidding. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Don't do it.
You almost tricked me. I almost did it. I was gonna do it.
That fucking Maeda guy, he's bullshit. Anyone who's
gonna go right to the core.
Anyone who's under that Maeda guy sucks.
Where's the book? Where's Drysdale's book?
Yeah, we should probably plug Drysdale's book too. I think it's right here. Oh no, but look, I will say this: if you like, the reason we use social media for jiu-jitsu, before we get into this book,
yeah, just hand it to me. I want to do the book talk.
The reason we use social media for jiu-jitsu is because we want to make connections with other jiu-jitsu people, right? True or false?
True.
Am I right?
You're right.
And we have Facebook, and we got to deal with all of our fucking family members that we don't want to talk to, right? But you can't unfriend them because they're your family members, right? Like fucking Aunt Bertha is going to get super pissed off if you unfriend her, even though you have like opposite political opinions and she writes a bunch of shit that pisses you off. Like you really can't unfriend your aunt without pissing off your rest of your family. So BJJ Link is a good place to go if you want to just hang out, hang out with jiu-jitsu people.
Yeah.
And they just added a new feature, which I have to.
Another one.
Yeah, it is. It's for gym owners, and there's a gym management platform specifically built just for jiu-jitsu gyms, and it has everything everyone needs to manage members, make payments, instructor schedules, curriculums, inventory management, and so much more.
They're really getting after it.
So if you guys want to, of course, this is like a service that you have to pay for. Obviously, if you're doing like
it's not free.
Well, bro, if you're doing like member management and payment collection, obviously it's like those are services that cost money. So if you are interested in looking into this, definitely use Matburn to get a free month of this service. And
I'm creating my BJJ Link account right now.
You were supposed to do this like many months ago.
This is my fifth account.
When they first sponsored our podcast. Anyways, I want to give my big shout out. So thank you, BJJ Link, for supporting the podcast. I know we've been kind of MIA, but we're back. We're back for now. Keyword for now. No, I think the winter months are going to be kind of cold and gloomy, so we're going to want to be indoors more, and maybe we'll bang out some more podcasts. We were actually supposed to get Barbosa in here. Let me tell you guys about Lucas Barbosa.
Hold on, before you do, I want to talk about this because Drysdale.
Okay, yeah. Very good. Shout out for Drysdale.
Robert Drysdale wrote this book. It's called Opening.
Bro, you cannot put the book over your face when you're talking about it.
The book is more important than my face.
Okay, it's called Opening the Closed Guard.
Opening Closed Guard, not the Closed Guard.
Sorry.
Opening Closed Guard. And what this book is about are the origins of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And so you guys have been hearing me talk about the origins of Jiu-Jitsu and American Jiu-Jitsu and the different.
No, you got to get closer to the microphone, bro.
Oh yeah,
you can't hear that.
Right, you're right. That's what I see what you're saying now. So you've heard me talk about the different paths that Jiu-Jitsu has made it into America.
Yeah,
and
you were on a little Jiu-Jitsu history kick for a minute there.
Well, yeah, because there's a misunderstood history of what Jiu-Jitsu is and how it actually was created.
Right,
and that history was largely perpetuated by the Gracie family, which is fine.
History is written by the winners, bro.
Well, I mean,
the Gracies are winners.
They didn't win all that much.
They win a lot.
So yeah, this talks about, like, you can see on the cover, all of these different people. All of these different people were very significant in how Jiu-Jitsu actually made it into the world today, as it is today. And this has an incredible story, just mainly focusing on Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and then how it was then kind of encapsulated by the term Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right. How
it came to that, and how most people in the U.S. and in Brazil think that Jiu-Jitsu was kind of created in Brazil. That is not the case, and this kind of documents the true history of Jiu-Jitsu, or at least as well as we know it currently. And Drysdale did a fantastic job actually, like, interviewing the people who are still alive in this. And
I'm pretty sure he spent years on this.
He did. He spent like 3 or 4 years on this.
And he traveled the world to do it.
It's a bunch of interviews. It's a bunch of documentation. It's a bunch of history.
I think I might be wrong.
Must read.
I might be wrong. I think the ACB guys helped him with this. They helped fund or sponsor the project. But actually, I think also this is linked to his master's degree. You know, Drysdale has a master's degree in history, and he wrote his master's thesis on the history of jiu-jitsu. And I think a lot of the information he collected during that time is involved in this book.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic. As you can, I'm looking in here, and it's all sorts of recorded interviews with all of these people, asking them specific questions. Like, one, can you imagine BJJ today without the Gracie family? This is with Kira Gracie. Then there was one in here with like Flavio Baring.
Baring.
Anyways,
he's old school. I think he's a coral belt, huh?
It's just really incredible. There's a lot of like, as you may have seen if you've been on the internet lately, a lot of what you see today is not necessarily how it actually happened in history. Things have been changed and warped, and there's just a lot of random, weird, unsubstantiated and information without context. And this does a great job of compiling it all.
I have a question. Flip that camera over to me. How did Drysdale decide whose face gets cut off and whose face doesn't get cut off? You know, like who are these dudes down here on the bottom?
No one knows. No one's ever gonna.
And how their face get cut? Why their faces get cut off? And who are these two dudes up here? They got chopped up too. It looks really interesting, actually. And actually, Drysdale messaged me like 3 or 4 weeks ago. He's like, "Hey, did you get your book?" And I'm like, "No. Where is it?" And he's like, "Oh, I sent it to Keenan like a month ago."
Yeah, I had your book, so you just haven't been here.
So
you had your little run-in at my gym.
I got it.
You weren't allowed to come back for a while.
I finally got it. Yeah, I got kicked. I was suspended from Legion because
get himself in trouble.
I'm an abrasive human being, and I like to cut. I don't have a filter. That's my problem. I don't have a filter, and I like to speak my emotions. And sometimes I hurt.
Emotions are unpredictable.
Sometimes I hurt people's feelings, and you know, I don't intend on that. To be honest, I'm trying my best to be a good friend by just being as honest as fuck. If I hate you, I'm just gonna tell you I hate you. If you smell bad,
probably not your friend,
bro.
You just don't have a lot of friends if you keep doing that.
Well, look, I was traveling recently, and there was a very attractive young lady that I met in my travels, and we were just drinking coffee and hanging out, and I could smell her coffee breath. you know that smell?
Drinking coffee.
You know what I mean?
But didn't you have the same?
No, it was like after. It was after. Oh, okay. Yeah, after we had finished the coffee, and she drinks black coffee. I always put a lot of cream and sugar in mine because obviously I'm a girl, and she's drinking the black coffee. You know. Yeah. And, I just had to let her know. I was like, hey, just FYI, you should probably chew some gum because you got some pretty stinky coffee breath right now. She wasn't offended, but it was.
Well, that's worse than she can't be offended over that. You just have to have your ego
crushed. I'm just being honest.
Momentarily.
I'm just being honest. I'm just helping her out because, maybe.
But for who? It's just you and her.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she's going to go meet someone later. I don't know what she was doing. Like, we were just hanging out for a minute.
Okay.
And so
brutal.
If anything,
I'd have the balls to do that.
I think she should thank me. Oh, I just didn't care. Like, what she gonna do? She gonna get mad because I'm trying to help her out?
Sure.
It's like when you're training with someone and they stink. You got to tell them they stink. Yeah. You have to, guys. I've been meaning to get on this BJJ hygiene conversation again because I feel like some of y'all have been slipping. And I don't use the word y'all very often, but I just did, and it's
you know what it is? It's the lockdowns. People were getting used to not showering for a day or 2, 3 days. They've just been in their house, and they just forgotten they have to go back to actually being clean.
This is a pandemic era. Hygiene is paramount. Okay, and yet I still travel to academies where people think it's cool to walk off the mat barefoot. And here's an example. I won't mention where or when, but within the past 3 months or so, I was at an academy, and you know how the big bay doors in the back, those are called bay doors, right? Yeah. Every academy has these for some reason, right? Every academy has
places with them because it's the only way to get airflow.
Right. So, and the mat always goes up to right to the edge of the bay door. And for some reason, people think it's cool to walk outside onto the asphalt barefoot. And asphalt is probably the dirtiest fucking ground that you can probably.
Metal.
You'd be better off walking in dirt. You think dirt's natural. Asphalt is just disgusting tire scum and bird shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably there's not a lot of bacteria on it because it's like hot and melting them all.
Maybe.
But still, I agree. You shouldn't be.
But it's disgusting, bro. Yeah. It's disgusting. And I watched someone walk out and it was a student, but I saw the instructor do it too. and maybe not all the way out to the asphalt, but like walking around barefoot, and you just can't do that. You cannot walk off the mat barefoot outside onto the asphalt, walk around doing whatever you're doing, and then walk back in on the mat. You're fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy because you would think people would know this, but I think people are just so unfamiliar with not having shoes on their feet that once the shoes come off their feet, they don't know what to do. And they just can't, like, the same person who walks off the mat without shoes on is the same person who wouldn't dare walk outside barefoot without shoes. You know?
Right.
Like, they're not going to leave their house without shoes. They're not going to walk to like 7-Eleven without shoes.
Right.
They're not going to take their shoes off in the middle of a hike. But for some reason, when your shoes are off, it's inconvenient to put them back on to like step off the mat for a few seconds, but it's like the floor is still dirty.
It's 100% inconvenient. That's why you got to wear Havaianas. Yeah. Like that's the official flip flop of jiu-jitsu. I bought a bunch
of flip flops. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put like more flip flops.
So
the problem is people steal them.
Perfect example. So guys, look, flip that camera. Flip the camera.
Oh, yeah.
So Keenan has like 1,000 of these just kind of floating around the gym floor. Not this one specifically.
People still won't put them on their feet. Like, even though I have all of them, they'll still walk off their foot.
And I think that's a great idea. Like academy owners, like consider maybe just buying some of these cheap ass flip flops and leave. The Viana brothers in Chicago, my good friends, let's give them a shout out real quick to the Viana bros in Chicago. They have a big basket of flip flops that when you walk into the academy, you take your shoes off immediately, just when you walk in the door. And then you put them in a cubby and you put on these flip flops. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. I learned that from Japan. That's what people do in Japan.
Great idea.
Gyms. They have, in Japan, it's in every bathroom. Every public bathroom basically has a bunch of these shoes. Maybe it's only in the gymnasiums, but in gymnasiums in Japan, if you go to a venue for a competition, you have to take your shoes off at the door of the venue, not like at the main area.
Okay.
There are no shoes allowed in the building at all. And once you're in there, everyone's barefoot. And then if you go to the bathroom, you're still barefoot as you walk to the bathroom. But then when you get in the bathroom, there's shoes.
More flip-flops.
And you put the flip-flops on as you go into the bathroom, which is like create some other hygiene issues maybe, like multiple people wearing the same shoes and you're like in the urinal and people are like peeing on the shoes maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I wouldn't put that beyond anyone.
But I mean, I'm sure they're sterilized at some point. But in the gyms as well, they do the same thing in the jiu-jitsu gyms there. You take your shoes off at the door and you put them in like shoe cubbies.
Carpe Diem does this in Tokyo.
Yeah, they all do it. And then you put on these flip-flops or these like sandals. They're not flip-flops.
Yeah.
Whatever they're called, thongs, whatever you're going to call them.
Because if you're walking around with your shoes on with the wooden floor of the gym, and then you step off the mat with your bare feet onto that same floor, essentially you're putting your feet on the same surface as the bottom of a shoe. Like germs are sticky; they stick to things, you know. Anyways, the point is, Keenan. Okay. Before you go,
I'm ready to change subject and just get off this. I'm tired.
Don't do it yet.
Okay.
When people stink, you got to tell them they stink. You cannot be afraid to offend them.
I'm afraid to do that, even as the gym owner here. But I haven't encountered anyone that stinks. But I think if I did, I wouldn't know what to say.
Well, and you're still trying to build your memberships. You know, like once you've maxed out your members, then you can start.
And then I'm trying to like trim the fat.
Yeah, exactly. You can start being a dick about it. You'd be like, "Hey, you stinky boy, you got to go."
Once we're at peak capacity,
Galvao was pretty forward about it. You know, like that's why he said he wanted the white gi policy, so he could see which gis are kind of stink and which ones aren't.
Yeah.
And if a gi is looking kind of yellow or gray and dingy, he'll literally just say, when we're all shaking hands at the end, he'll be like, change your gi. You change your gi. Don't bring this gi back.
Yeah.
So guys, don't be afraid to offend anyone, man. If someone's stinky, tell them they're stinky. Like you don't have to be a dick about it. Just be like, yo, you kind of smell right now. Like, it's all right. It happens. It's happened to all of us. I'm sure I've been the stinky kid once. I've definitely had my nose in your armpit and it smelled bad. It's definitely happened.
I mean, if you get all the way in there, what do you expect?
Sometimes because I'm a grinder. I like to pass with my head down.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you want from me? You know, one thing that's a deceptive about training a lot is when we train a lot, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll shower like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll shower in the morning.
Yeah.
Go train, shower again.
Of course.
Go train again, shower again.
That's
three times.
That's my daily routine.
And so I developed a habit of not wearing deodorant because I was showering.
You don't need to.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm literally showering 3 times a day, sweating constantly, like cleaning my body out with this sweat and like the exfoliation of the gi. Sometimes my skin gets really nice when I'm training a lot because my skin has just been exfoliated by every gi sandpapering across my face, and I'm showering, so I'm extra clean.
Right.
But then the problem with that is the COVID problem, where it's like, wait, if you stop training and you stop showering 3 times a day, you do have to wear deodorant. And there have been times that I have forgotten that because I have stopped training as consistently. And then, so sorry you had to experience that.
That's okay.
I apologize. It's okay. What I just want to say, you are one of the highest
selling,
performing, and selling Jiu-Jitsu X instructors because you have 3 instructionals. And I told everyone this, like, if you want to get in the instructional game, you got to cast a wide net.
Yeah.
You don't focus on one thing and say that's your instructional. You got to do a lot of them. And so you have the Hinger team,
yes,
which is called the Hinger Games on Jiu-Jitsu X, which is just going up for sale recently. Then you had the Singles After 30, which is the best-selling instructional on the website, I think. Is it? By quantity.
Yeah.
It's
cheaper though, too, right? It's cheaper.
And then you had Monoplata Magnus, which it's in the gi, people are not as interested as your gi game. But still, that's the point of having a wide net. So and some people were making fun of Josh recently in the jiu-jitsu world.
What, that angry little bitch
the thing
Coast?
That he doesn't know about that is Josh is actually selling a lot of instructionals. And so if you haven't seen Josh's instructionals on Jiu-Jitsu X, which is right here, as you can see this, I didn't even know this was on here.
Yeah.
Josh has some great instructionals on there, as well as many other fantastic athletes.
I'm not a terrible instructor, I hear.
You are a fantastic instructor.
Thanks.
There's tons of good reviews. Being articulate is a huge part of the...
Are those in the reviews? I haven't seen the reviews.
I haven't specifically combed over your reviews, but I mean, that is one thing that is kind of uniform. Is
I probably never will, but...
The... articulation.
I trust you'll give me the feedback.
So jujitsux.com, that's the new thing we're working on. Josh has been doing well on there. We have a ton more things to come. So make sure to check out jujitsux.com, pick up some of Josh's and I's instructionals, and everyone else who's on there. They're all good instructors, handpicked.
I died of laughter when that little man out there was hating, and I was literally sitting on a beach in Cabo, and I can just imagine him in like the cold ass like upper, what's that, northeast, just angry and bitter, just like, and I'm like,
I think a lot of people are moving out of New York now too.
I was just enjoying my day on the beach of Cabo. It's just so nice to know that he's thinking about me always, and how we never think about him.
Except right now.
Nah, but it's funny. It is funny.
Anyways, Lucas was on there as well. Lucas is on there.
Oh, the reason Lucas, he was going to join us on this episode today. It's probably good that he didn't, because I don't think he would fit in here. But he's doing some pad work, some boxing for his inevitable MMA debut.
He's going to do MMA.
He's going to do it. He's
a good MMA fighter, man.
Oh, I think he'll be phenomenal. He's done some before. He's not even new to it. It's not his MMA debut. I think it's just his pro debut. But I think the Hulk is going to be a phenomenal fighter because his wrestling is phenomenal. His conditioning is phenomenal. His jiu-jitsu obviously is unstoppable. All he's got to work on is those hands. And if he can get his hands down, or at least just figure out how to take people down without getting beat up, I think he'll be unstoppable, dude. And I think he would probably have to fight 170, right?
Yeah, I guess.
He's about 190, 200 pounds right now.
The MMA career is like, fuck, you got to do MMA now.
I wouldn't want to deal with the weight cutting, man. I just wouldn't want to deal with that. Like I've had a life of cutting weight, and I just hate it so much. I don't think I could ever get myself to do a weight cut ever again. I think I'm so done with it.
So guys, here's Jiu-Jitsu X. You can see a lot of my courses are on here.
Whose head is that on my plate? Is that Edwin? It does look like Edwin.
No, it's not. It was just a random head, I think.
Someone said it looked like Edwin. And I was like, it looks like a 40-year-old Edwin.
No, I think it was a UFC fighter, actually.
Was it?
That's what I feel like I know the name. Anyways, here's jujitsux.com. You can see all of the great instructors here. We got them all.
There's a lot of good ones, man.
Everyone available. We have many more coming. JT's coming out.
Is he?
JT's going to do an instructional with us. We've been in talk. Paul Meow.
JT is a phenomenal instructor. He doesn't knock.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to get him out, because he's never got enough credit for how good he is. I feel like he should get more.
We did a joint seminar a couple months ago, and he was showing us the knee cut, both gi and no gi. And man, I learned so much. From that one little seminar. Like
JT taught me so much about passing in my life, and he's always been one of my true senseis. He's
easily the most talented.
He's just very busy.
American grappler.
He's just like in his own world, though. I don't know what that guy does all day. I wish I knew.
I think his
I mean, he's teaching and doing all this stuff.
New York's having a problem still.
Yeah,
his business is
I saw
took a real kick to the nuts.
Yeah, the jiu-jitsu gyms in New York are really struggling. because you're not allowed to open except with like these crazy
very, very strict.
That's what's so wild. In San Diego, we've been allowed to open since May.
Yeah, we've never really had a problem here in COVID. Never had a COVID problem.
Everyone on the news is saying like California is the worst. But San Diego's been pretty.
No,
good. It was city more.
Yeah, it was like LA. LA had a problem in the Bay Area. Yeah, get on that mic, dude. You're not on that mic.
Yeah. We got to get going though. So, is there anything else you want to say?
Well, I would just like to give one last shout out to our official sponsor, the BJJ Link. If you guys want to avoid the toxicity of Facebook, but still connect with your jiu-jitsu friends, you can do it on BJJ Link. I'm on there. Keenan's on there now. And if you guys want to shoot us a couple messages on BJJ Link, I will happily respond. If you
make sure you're not part of some filthy lineage as well. That would be
like that Maeda lineage.
Make sure your lineage isn't absolutely
I'm just
filed.
Kidding. I'm kidding about Maeda, and I'm sure someone's trying to take it seriously, but no, obviously.
No, we're just joking.
Not.
I think lineage is a stupid idea in the first place. Like, do you really think that knowledge from the guy 4 generations ago has somehow been passed down to you at this point? Like, you're not doing the same moves he was doing. I promise you. You're not learning the same systems. It's completely negligible. Just
because your great jiu-jitsu grandfather was really good doesn't mean you are.
And the thing is, they probably weren't that good. I mean,
don't even go down that road. You'll start pissing off everyone.
I don't know how to tell people this, but if you're an Olympic athlete from 50 years ago, you're not as good as the Olympic athlete of today. That's just how it works. I don't know why that was such a big thing for people to understand.
I know.
But it's all good.
Yeah. Hey, I was shout out to the CBD distillery too. I love the CBD distillery. If you guys want 10% off, you can use my code Josh10 for 10% off. Yep. CBD distillery.
And of course, my sponsors as well, Hyperfly and the Fighter's Choice, Fighter's House. Big fans of those guys because they're actually helping the people here.
Is Fighter's Choice a direct competitor to Fighter's Market?
No.
Are they different?
Fighter's Choice is a supplement brand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they like sold a whole. Okay. Never mind.
I mean, they sell some other stuff too, basic merchandise, but they're mainly a supplement brand. But they have their vision is to like actually help the jiu-jitsu community and the people in it as far as like the athletes. When I say jiu-jitsu community, I mean usually the athletes more than like the hobbyist people.
Right.
Because I know those are.
Well, they don't need support because they got real jobs.
Yeah, they have real jobs. So we're trying to support the people that kind of fuel the jiu-jitsu industry but don't have jobs and they're trying to make money with jiu-jitsu, which is why I started Jiu-Jitsu X too, to try and help people use my understanding of the internet and selling instructionals to help other people do it.
Yeah. I mean, guys, if you can, maybe help out some of the jiu-jitsu entrepreneurs, that you like. Can't help out everyone, obviously, but if you like someone or you like their style, their flair, they're probably hurting right now during the pandemic.
I think that's a lot of jiu-jitsu. It's like you just support the people that you're into.
Yeah. The corona apocalypse kicked a lot of us in the nuts and,
Although I think everyone's probably a little surprised at how fast most of it came back.
It's cultish, man. Jiu-jitsu is cultish. Of course you can't. Literally, jiu-jitsu will never stop. It does not matter how strict they try to get. People are going to have little fight clubs in their basement. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's like the prohibition. You can't really get.
You can't stop alcohol consumption. You can't stop jiu-jitsu. Period. It just is what it is. It's got
to go underground.
It's going to go underground. I'm sorry. And
into garages.
They're going to.
I mean, I don't think we're going to experience it.
This is actually I don't want to get hyper political, but I just want to throw this out there just to.
We can end on some political.
I just want to raise someone's heart rate.
If someone gets angry about political stuff at the end of the podcast, you just stayed too long.
I just want to raise someone's heart rate. This is the big argument for it's an argument against banning abortion is because abortions will not stop. If they were to ban all abortions, it's going to go underground.
That's why it became legal because so many women were dying.
They're still going to do it.
It's
a sad story, issue. But it's going to be done. It's going to get done.
There's a great podcast on this subject on the Sam Harris podcast. I think her name was Catherine. I forgot her last name, but she goes really into depth on the topic of abortion, and it was incredibly enlightening because basically the point she makes is both sides have a very good argument.
Yeah, oh, for sure they do, for sure. And I'm not trying to take a side. I'm not even trying to give you guys my side.
You can't have a side in it.
I'm not even telling you that I have a side.
If you picked a side in those kind of arguments, you haven't done the research because
you
can't, the reason they're so contested is because both sides have amazing points.
Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't say amazing, but they both have.
They both have.
I wouldn't say they're
points.
Amazing.
They're amazing. They're good. They're points enough to be like these are
important considerations.
Realist, you both have very good points.
Yes,
I think that makes it.
But
amazing.
The word amazing is Come on, guys. Also, Hyperfly is dropping. Not Hyperfly. Oh, did I just say Hyperfly? Fuck me, because I'm looking at your shirt. It says Hyperfly. Kick myself in the nuts. The Tommy's dropping a whole new line. I'm gonna do a photo shoot with my man Bonnet next week, and they got a whole new line of lifestyle wear. Super cool stuff, and you'll see that soon. So if you want to jump on to Tommy on the website, you can use Hinger BJJ for 15% off.
Great.
That's all, guys.
Who do you think's gonna win the election?
I'm still rooting for the Green Party. I'm just kidding.
We don't have that's a problem. We don't have a third party.
There's 7 parties,
but they don't do anything.
You just never heard of them.
How come they're not allowed in? Not allowed to play the game
because they don't have enough votes. Actually, the Libertarian Party made an argument that they do have 1% of the vote, and they did get 1%, and that I think qualifies her for to be included on the. I say her because it was Jo Jorgensen, but she should have been included on the debates. I think she's on every ballot for every state. Once you have 1%,
right? That's pretty cool.
Anyways,
I think we're gonna experience some crazy shit as this goes into like legit legislature and like court battles.
I'm not opposed to a split government.
What's that mean?
It means like Congress is one party and the presidency is another. I think they need to keep each other in check. I think if one of them was in control of everything, things can get very out of hand. I'm in the middle, man. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, so I can lean towards Republican policies, but but I care about the planet. I care about a lot of the liberal, and
that's the thing. Anyone who makes some money is going to slightly lean against taxes.
Of course.
And then probably.
Of course. Like, I honestly, I side with both parties and depending on the topic.
Yeah.
I want small federal government.
But let's not talk about you and me and our personal opinions, but do you think that it's going to get crazy and it's going to go to like Supreme Court for who ends up being the president? Do you think it's already decided?
I don't think it'll go to the Supreme Court. No.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
Would it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. I think
that's the thing. There's a lot of people that seem very confident that it's one way already, but then there's a lot of lawsuits being filed at the same time. Who knows? It's very exciting.
It's unprecedented, and it's interesting, and it's kind of scary. I hope the stock market doesn't plunge into. Some people think it will, but I guess they always say that though, right?
Yeah. I mean, is the stock market ever going to get worse than when?
I guess when it plunges is a good thing, anyways.
It's a good thing. Unless society ends, which is possible.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, man. Who
knows? We don't have enough information. The internet is not reliable. There's no objective truth. Everything we know is a lie.
Guys, stay off Facebook. Whatever you read on Facebook is not true. Just stop reading Facebook and then making.
That's arguments. That's what I don't like. That everyone thinks that it's what they're seeing is true, and that makes it true. That it makes it highly likely that nothing that you know is true. If everyone thinks that they're right.
Right.
So that just leaves us in a situation where we have no base of like what actual truth is anymore, because now you have news media.
Here's the truth. Let me tell you the truth.
Reality then.
The truth is that nothing is more important than your relationships. Okay? Your family members and your friends, the people that you interact with. This is the truth. Okay? These fucking people on social media and on Facebook and on Instagram, these people that you've never met in your life, stop wasting your time. Put that camera back on me so they can see my seriousness. Stop wasting your time arguing with strangers.
How about you stop telling people how to live, bro?
Oh, dang it. That's a good one. You got me.
Yeah. How about you let people live their life on digital world?
Go be as miserable as you want.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. Is people. I mean, if someone wants to spend their life playing video games and not engaging in real relationships,
You're right.
They will do it, and the same thing will apply to social media.
And this is me. This is where I lean towards libertarians. I'm all about people chasing their happiness. Go do what makes you happy. But I don't think arguing on social media actually makes people happy. I think,
but it's not like I don't go argue on social media and it still upsets me. Just to see, because my social media feed is like, I try and just get both sides because I don't want to get caught in an echo chamber.
Yeah, sure.
But like, even when I do get both sides, I see how all the echo chambers form, because my bias is like, makes me just hate what some people say, even if it's like a valid opinion. Well, they're usually not valid. Who knows?
Every opinion is valid.
They seem unvalid sometimes. But yeah, I just get frustrated looking at it. But
I've
been doing better at focusing on my relationships too.
Man, I stayed off Facebook for the past 2 weeks, and really it was nice. Like, man, I just focused on my friendships and my training. And guys, just try to spend time with people face to face. You know, like
the thing that's hard about it is just that there's this crazy car wreck going on that never ends. It's like a train wreck that's just like piling up.
And the bodies are just. There's carnage everywhere. You know, you don't want to look at it, but you got to look at it.
The train wreck just won't stop. And you're just like, is it ever going to stop? And the answer is no.
I was on that Instagram account, not Nature is Metal, but there's another one, The Dark Side of Nature. And it was a polar bear ripping apart a seal who was still alive. And the seal was like trying to fight back and with his flipper. And the polar bear's literally just like pushing it. Like, yeah, stomping on him and like biting it. And there's blood coming out. And I didn't want to look at it, but I couldn't not look at it. That's Facebook.
Yeah, ultimately what we're experiencing right now is human nature.
Carnage.
Yeah. Human nature is creating
social carnage.
Chaos, and we can't look away.
Guys, try to spend time with your loved ones off social media.
I really like advice. How you always bring it back to a reality that I had difficulty grasping, which is the president of the United States doesn't really control your individual life.
Oh yeah.
As much as people think it does.
I learned this in school. Like they were like, the president actually impacting your daily life is so insignificant. Like the mayor of your city is going to impact your life way more. Say
that the party that the president represents could also be the party of your city, which could the parties.
Sure.
You know.
But guys, don't worry so much about the president. It's your local government that's going to impact your life the most.
I'm worried about China. I'm scared of China as a country. That's what I'm scared of.
Okay.
Equally I'm equally scared of China as I am of an electromagnetic pulse that wipes out our grid system. I think it's an equivalent fear to have of a.
Well, we're the ones that buy all their cheap shit. So
I know, but it's,
they can't.
But I mean, a lot of
they can't destroy us. They need us.
Are you sure?
It's a symbiotic relationship.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
No one really. I think no one. I think there's a lot of unknowns in the world right now.
Well, if everyone could remember that they know much more less than they think they know.
We don't know shit about fuck.
We don't know shit about fuck.
Which is the fear. That's
and once you all realize that, the world will make more sense.
Yeah, it's just difficult. Like now, I think one of the things that I'm experiencing is like having this crazy conduit into the ether of internet information and this incredibly vast amount of information that you can never fully process and understand in your little brain.
Your little monkey brain.
But the way that human brains make models of situations, we try and create this model around like what's happening in the world because we have access to all this information. And our models are just so incorrect because there's just too much of it to build an accurate model. But we still feel like we should be able to understand it.
Yeah.
Because our little human brains have to try and understand it to like.
It's like trying to wrap your brain around the infinity of the universe.
Yeah, and you can kind of do it,
I can
but
do
not
this.
really.
Nah.
If you actually wait, I actually can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
you have no idea.
The complexity of social interactions between every single person on earth and every single country and like how that actually plays out long term and what's behind closed doors and what isn't is so complex. Anyways, that was the end of that. That was our political segment. Dipped our toes in.
I just want to raise your heart rate a little bit.
Don't.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, and stop tripping about everything.
Guys,
let's just talk, you know?
If you want to go check out BJJ Link and you want to check out their services, if you have an academy and their membership management services, use the code Matburn. Oh, sorry. Also, Jugo, the card game. I always want to give them a shout out. I don't know. I just love those guys.
I just want to get out of here, bro.
I'm sorry. Okay. Go check out Jugo, the card game. It's a really cool card game. Kids love it. If you have kids that do jiu-jitsu, it's cool. Anyways, okay, sorry.
All right, everyone. That was the Matburn podcast.
Number something or other.
We'll see you next time.
Later.